Hello guys, my name is Colin and this is Colin Talks Crypto. Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, when you thought that 2020 was as wild as it was going to get, and we had this hope that 2021 was going to be better than that, it looks like it's off to a crazy start. We have GameStop, the stock, with elite Wall Street manipulation, and we have Elon Musk putting Bitcoin in his Twitter profile, and we have CoinMarketCap actually kind of taking a stand against Wall Street as well. Thank you for joining me. Nothing's boring around the crypto space. Heck, nothing's boring in the political or Wall Street space either. Everything is just kind of nuts these days. And you know, amidst all the chaos and all the turmoil and all the confusion and all the strife, there's one kind of stability that I cling to. And that for me is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is the passive, peaceful resistance against Wall Street and the status quo and corrupt politicians and lack of transparency. Bitcoin is the attack back at the system. It's the only way to peacefully, passively resist the corruption that exists in the world today in so many different levels and so many different forms. And so it's a double-edged sword. When you buy Bitcoin, you're involving yourself in a speculative asset that is historically known to appreciate 200% every year since its birth. It's just going up, 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 up. So you're gonna make money on it in the long run, most likely. This is not financial advice. Secondly, you're taking a stab at the system. You're taking a stab at the elites. Every dollar that you put into Bitcoin further props up the replacement system, and a system that will be here even when the old system collapses. And I see that as being an inevitability, not as a matter of if. It's just a matter of when. And we don't know exactly when that'll all come crumbling down, but with things like GameStop manipulation, with things like election fraud, with things like the coronavirus pandemic and the ridiculous handlings around the world that make no sense in a lot of cases, with all this craziness going on right now, I kind of just try to drown out the noise and focus in on the one thing that gets me through all of this in the end, and that is Bitcoin and that is cryptocurrency, the freedom of money for humankind. So first up, let's check out this GameStop thing. So if you've been following the news, it's pretty hard to miss. GameStop has been totally and utterly manipulated by Wall Street. The regular investor found a way to make profits on a stock, just like anyone else could, just like any hedge fund could. And yet, what happened is that the Robinhood app delisted or took away the ability to buy that stock without any notice. They allowed you to sell it, but they stopped your ability to buy it. So basically, the only direction that the price could go would be down. It was an intentional market manipulation intended to push the price down for the explicit and sole reason that hedge funds and billions of dollars out there with the money from investing groups with all the elites' money didn't want to lose on their short sells. They had all put in massive amounts of shorts on this particular stock. And the Reddit community, wallstreetbets, figured this out and actually placed bets against that and started buying the stock. And what happened is that it caused all these shorters to lose hugely, like billions of dollars, 3 billion on up. I think one hedge fund specifically needed to top up its account with $3 billion just to break even. And so the regular person kind of found a way to stick it to the man. And had this been a play from any traditional hedge fund, it would have been simply allowed to be, and the regular investor would have lost its money. But not when the tables are turned, not when the coin is flipped. When the elites start losing money, they don't want that to happen, and they won't let it happen. And so what they did is they stopped the actual buying of that stock. You didn't think it was possible, but they stopped the buying of that stock in clearly the most corrupt and overtly manipulative play that we have seen in the stock market for a very long time. David Portnoy had a few things to say about this, and I agree with him completely.
When I saw what Robinhood was doing, ironically, Robinhood take from the rich and give to the poor, even though they do the exact opposite, I was stunned. I think it's criminal. I think there has to be an investigation. I think people have to go to jail. But I've never been more convinced about market manipulation and the people, the hedge funds, controlling the game than today. I mean, just to wake up and say, hey, You can't trade these stocks anymore. You can only sell them. We're going to intentionally crash the market in these stocks, and everyone who has it, tough. You're going to lose a ton of money, but we're going to save the rich people and the hedge funds. Shocking. Like in 20 years of me doing Barstool, I'm not exaggerating, it's the most shocked I've been, and maybe I shouldn't be. And I love the lectures. You hear it from the hedge funds and the suits, as I call them, but they'll say they're protecting you and we're protecting you versus yourself, and people don't understand the risk and margin. And then you look at them, it's like, buddy, look in the mirror. You're doing the same thing. The hedge funds are betting against companies. We're betting on them. With money and margin, we're doing the same thing. The only difference is we're winning and you're getting your teeth kicked in, and you just said, time out. We're changing the rules. And it's bananas. It cannot happen. And I saw the Robinhood guy, Vlad, he's on TV. He's lying through his teeth. Why? Who's in the back end? Who's pulling the strings? Who's making the decisions? We have to find out. And by the way, it's not enough just to be like, oh, we're going to slap you on the wrist and give you a fine. These are billionaires. They can write billion-dollar checks like we write $10 checks. Somebody has to go to jail for this. This was intentional market manipulation. Nobody was under the impression somebody could just press the stop button and say, guess what? We can crash this stock without you having any say. You can only sell it. You can't buy it. What happened? This is like the movie Wall Street. It's insane. It's criminal behavior. What happened today? Plain and simple, people have to go to jail.
I always love to hear what David Portnoy has to say on things. He's a very entertaining guy. It's really a shame that he sold his Bitcoin. He actually bought it. I think it was like around $11,000. He bought it. It went down to like $9,000. He panic sold. And here we are today, just months later, and it's at like $40,000. So unfortunately, that was probably one of his worst trades. However, I understand it from a legacy investor point of view, which is what he is. You know, props to him for dipping his toes in the Bitcoin waters. He can get a lot of hate for making such a bad trade, but honestly, he doesn't understand Bitcoin enough. And that's clear from how he talks about it. And the fact that he was willing to go there and venture out there and dip his toe in the Bitcoin trading waters, you know, hats off to him for that. Yes, he lost a lot of money because he didn't hold, and that was his mistake. All of us long-term holders know how to do this. He's new into the Bitcoin space. Give him a little bit of a break. You know, he'll come back. He'll probably buy in at like $60,000 or $100,000. He'll probably buy at the top of the next market. But, you know, we all have to learn. And I learned the hard way. You may have learned the hard way. We all make mistakes. No one's perfect. So it's a shame that he sold, but he'll get back in. So don't worry. David Portnoy is open to Bitcoin and he loves the community. So as you can see, there are a lot of people very unhappy with the way this is being handled. This should be illegal, and yet it just occurred. So is anyone going to pay the price? Is anyone going to go to jail? There should be punishments. There should be penalties, fines, and imprisonments. But will it happen? Likely it won't. And if you go back to 2008, during the housing crisis, when there was a ton of manipulation, not a single person from Wall Street went to jail for that. So to assume this would be any different would be pretty silly. But I do like the fact that this is becoming more and more on the public radar. It's becoming more and more evident how truly manipulative and dishonest the entire stock market is. So if there's any silver lining to this horrible series of events, it's that the American people are waking up to the unfair atrocities and the dishonest schism between the elite and the regular person. Regular citizens do not play on the same rules as the elite and Wall Street do. Wall Street has its own set of rules. It is basically above the law. And that's what people are starting to see. They're starting to go, hey, this is not fair at all. We want justice. Now, one website that actually took a stance against this ridiculous manipulation of the GameStop stock was CoinMarketCap.com. And I just want to show you this real quickly. If you go to CoinMarketCap.com and you look at the top of the listing, this lists all the cryptocurrencies. But they just decided to add Wall Street Bets right there at the top. And Wall Street Bets is the name of the Reddit channel that kind of coordinated this purchase of the GameStop stock. And you can see the price there. That's the GameStop price. It's still going up, so this is great. Looks like they're still winning. And it's because of the Streisand effect. You know, Wall Street tries to hide the stock. They get the Robinhood app to only allow sells and to disable buys. Well, the Streisand effect dictates that it's going to become more known and more seen than before because you tried to hide it. And I think that's what's going on here with the likes of things like CoinMarketCap putting it at the top of their list of all the cryptocurrencies. It's not even a cryptocurrency. It's just being made seen and made visible. We're not letting this go under the radar. We're not letting this be hidden as a community. And I love that. I love that the people are finding a way to stand up against the elites and the unjust corruptness that is the Wall Street stock market system. It's still pumping massively. Look at this, 134% up in the past 24 hours. So it's looking like the attempt to stop the trades was not effective, was not fully effective. It caused a temporary dip in the price, but it was not fully a stop on this rocketing price. Because fortunately, there are many other places that you can trade this stock, not just Robinhood. So people are doing it on other platforms. And lastly, I just want to cover Elon Musk. This guy is so funny when it comes to Bitcoin. First, he expresses interest in it. He says it's his secret word. And then he talks to Michael Saylor, the CEO of MicroStrategies, who's bought over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor said he would show Elon his playbook on how to accumulate Bitcoin. And Elon, shortly thereafter, made a tweet that was kind of funny. It was kind of confusing. He said, Bitcoin is almost as much of a scam as fiat, or something of that nature. And I thought at the time that that was code for, I want to accumulate. And I realized that by talking with Michael Saylor, I might be driving the price up. And so I think that's the case now, because we have Elon Musk in his Twitter profile. The only text in his profile is Bitcoin, the hashtag Bitcoin. And that just happened today. And so I think that was code for, I'm accumulating Bitcoin and I don't want to push the price up before I do. Clearly, Elon Musk now feels comfortable promoting Bitcoin. That means that he's entered the market. That's just how this works. When someone's talking down on it, either they genuinely don't like it or they're accumulating it and they want lower prices. Well, Elon Musk having 44 million followers, he's a pretty big celebrity, one of the top celebrities, and I think he's like the richest man on earth. Talking about how Bitcoin is almost as much of a scam as fiat is really just code for, I just bought a buttload of Bitcoin and I didn't want anyone to do it before me. So if you've noticed, Bitcoin's price actually rose up a bit today. It went from like 32,000 to 37,000. That's a pretty big bump. And that could be a result of the hype generated by the news that Elon just put Bitcoin in his Twitter profile. And if you take a look at a tweet shortly after he updated his Twitter profile, he says, in retrospect, it was inevitable. He doesn't qualify that with any context, but we know what he's talking about there. He's talking about his recent promotion and most likely acquisition of Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency. Elon is on board, guys. As a side note, it's also pretty funny to see that DogeCoin, D-O-G-E, for those unfamiliar, has seen insane price appreciation in the past week. Just utterly ridiculous. I haven't looked into it too much, and I'm not sure if that's related to Elon Musk, but I suspect there could be a link because Elon Musk in the past has very often cited Doge memes or made Doge comments. I think he really likes the cryptocurrency because he's sort of a funny, goofy guy, and Doge is right up his alley. So that's also pretty interesting. DogeCoin has basically gone vertical. It's up 523% in the past 7 days. It's up 314% in the past 24 hours, and it's currently sitting at about 5.7 cents per DogeCoin. Pretty amazing.